It's very difficult to do anything when the country is in the situation in which it is right now. And I have been observing what has been going on in the country since morning. Like many of us who are interested in what's happening in the country. And quite frankly, it's very painful and very unfortunate to see, what is going on in the country. Because I don't think there's someone around who thinks we should be living like this every day. And our young people getting out, expressing themselves, and the level of violence that we have seen, the level of destruction in the country is unbearable. And we cannot pretend that there are no issues. And this has nothing to do with politics. Whatever side of the political divide you belong to, these issues need to be addressed. I keep asking this question: how many lives are we going to lose before we start listening and reasoning with each other? Because what is being asked here really is attention, and then to ensure that we work in an inclusive manner to address the challenges that we face. And we cannot pretend that the challenges don't exist. And then we live as if those who are raising questions, or those who are on the streets, like our young active Kenyans, are just doing it for any other reasons except trying to address the real issues that they deal with on a day-to-day basis. So for me and many of us, really, it's a very, very sad day and very painful. If we were a little more open and more focused in addressing some of these issues, we should not have gotten here this year. Because when this happened last year, there are promises that were made that were never fulfilled. Personally, I've been thinking, actually, and maybe I'll speak about this some more when I get out and start having conversations with people. We needed an open public inquiry on some of these things and on all things that are being raised. Whether it's about unaccounted for deaths and so on, we need an open public inquiry on these matters so that issues can be resolved and can be addressed effectively and conclusively. We cannot go on like this, because the question you ask yourself every day is, how many more lives are we going to lose before we start listening and reasoning with each other? And what else needs to happen before we get to a point where we forget about whether it's politics or whatever the issues are and focus really on the questions that we are being asked at this particular time? Why must it be that when people ask questions, they are met with either a different attitude, or they are met with violence and so on and so forth? Yet they are basically asking questions, and they're not saying things that are alien to us. They're saying that things that we know and we ought to relate to in an effective manner. So my view is, I've observed this for the bit that I could, and listened very carefully, tried to spend most of the time glued to screens, to YouTube, looking at what was going on. I mean, I've literally spent my day on this particular, and it's because the Gen Z said it's going to be their day. They don't need politicians on the streets and so on. So we have been glued, observing what was happening today. You can hardly do anything. There's nothing you can do when the country is in a situation where it is. We are all on tenterhooks. We don't know what is going to happen. And the level of destruction and violence we have seen across the country, honestly, what is it going to take for us to listen, for our leaders to get to a point where they say, let us listen and reason with each other? And yet, you see, if this is not conclusively and properly addressed, this round is not going to come to an end. We are going to continue dealing with each other in this kind of manner, all the time. I believe that there must come a time in the life of our country when nothing matters but the country. Nothing matters but the stability of the country. Nothing matters but the stability and the satisfaction of the people of that particular country. And for Kenya, for us now, that is the time. Let's for once focus on the issues that these young Kenyans are raising. I mean, approximately, when you look at the statistics, probably about 7 out of 10 Kenyans you talk to are between the age 0 and 35. Now, the 3 out of 7 who are 35 and above, we cannot fail to listen to the bulk of our population and focus on the welfare and the interest of the bulk of our population. And the questions they're asking are not about things that are alien. They're about things that are with us. So let's forget about many of these things and focus on the solutions that we need to deal with to the challenges we have. These questions I've asked about inclusion, the questions I've asked about what needs to be done in employment, how to handle, education, because most of these frustrations, it's true, as some parent was telling me, some of our children are genuinely traumatized. If you have been in university for 2 years or 3 years, you cannot do an exam because you don't have money and so on. What do we expect them to do? If you have been in school, you are facing a stage exam and you need to move to the next level. Now you don't know, whether capitation has come or not. You don't know what is going to be done. What is expected of us? Most of our young people are genuinely traumatized, and this is the result of that. So we can't pretend that all is fine and dandy, and therefore we shouldn't even be raising this issue in the first place, or we start ascribing them to other things. Oh, it's politics, it's so and so. This is why I always say, let us not spend time pointing fingers and hurling insults. Let's focus on the issues that we have at hand. That's what we need to do. Thank you. Some of these things are so difficult to address. The famous belief we all have in society is that all of us should grow old to be buried by our children, not to bury our children. And now, most of the people we are losing are young. And so you wonder what is going to happen to this society. And many of them, we are losing them when they are basically just asking questions that are not just logical, but real and necessary. So I feel for those parents. As a parent, I feel for them. It is painful and hurting. To be frank with you, sometimes you hope that in life you don't have to face a situation where you have to address these kinds of things. To look at like those mothers and those parents and all those who have lost their young ones in circumstances such as this. It is very sad, very disheartening. But look, let's not lose hope, because when all is said and done, let's get together, because it's for this reason precisely that we should all cross ranks in an intergenerational manner, come together and find solutions to fix these challenges. And we will fix them. These are not insurmountable problems. These are things we can deal with. I get very sad really when I see, even the language that is being used in circumstances such as this. People are raising issues. What we have seen in the course of the last few days, the language even from the leaders is shocking. How do you even address your citizens in the kind of manner that some of our leaders have been speaking? Yet actually you're addressing people who are raising challenges, very basic, straightforward issues and challenges that you need to solve and deal with as a leader. Why can't we even be decent and talk to each other in a responsible manner? Why must we address each other in the manner in which we are addressing each other? The country and really the world now needs warriors of progress, warriors of development, not warriors who carry pangas and rungus. We need warriors of progress, warriors of development, warriors of togetherness, who are going to build unity and create greatness out of our nation. We are looking for warriors who are going to solve our problems, not warriors who will be brought here to kill fellow citizens. So when we are using that kind of language and telling people this way or that way, we will bring those, it's unfortunate, honestly speaking, very, very unfortunate. But look, it's a painful and emotional moment, and while I'm on this, I sincerely feel and condole with those who have lost lives, both in the last 1 year and now. And my view is, I'm going to make my contribution in doing everything that we can to work with everybody of goodwill to sort these challenges out. We can't continue on this trajectory all the time. It's like a very sad and tragic merry-go-round. We have riots, we make promises, we don't deal with them, then we have another round of riots, and the best way we deal with it is describe them and ascribe them to political activity which is not right and so on. Thank you.